In today's video, we are in the exciting Tokyo.
Konnichiwa!
During our trip, we stayed in Tokyo for 5 magical days, aiming to eat and explore as much as we could, so that you guys can pick and choose the best activities and places to eat. But before we get to that, you're probably wondering, in a city where 5-star hotels can easily cost upwards of $700, where did we stay? We stayed at 2 different properties while we were in Tokyo, with Moxie being our recommendation for those on a budget. But if you need a little bit of luxury, then that's not a problem, without emptying your wallet. It's also perfect for those who need something quirky for their Instagram page. The rooms are a good size and well stocked, even featuring a mini fridge. Located in Shinjuku, Moxie is only 5 kilometers from the centre of Tokyo. It has limited express trains to Tokyo Station and direct metro trains to Shinjuku, Shibuya and Narita Airport. For the majority of our stay, we were south of the city at Mezum, which is a 5-star property in the Marriott Group. Every aspect of this hotel has a wow factor, including our room, which is on the 28th floor. Even the reception is 14 floors up and has jaw-dropping views over the bay. Some rooms even come with a piano, and it's only a couple of stops from Tokyo Station. Luckily, because this property is not cheap, we had a good amount of Marriott points to spend. If you're interested to see our stay here, check out the review on our channel.
So start of day 1 in downtown Tokyo.
We were pretty optimistic and, as you would be, really excited to be in Tokyo. Having arrived yesterday at 12:30 off a connecting flight from the UK, it's 9 AM in Japan, but back home in the UK it's midnight, and the jet lag is bad. The hotel is just a few stops south of the centre of Tokyo, with the closest station being Hamamatsuko, and having not purchased a Suko travel card yesterday at the airport, a foolish mistake. We have no choice but to walk to Tokyo Station to get one. The journey is very pleasant though, taking us past the Hamariko Gardens, which we'll explore in the coming days. And having not had the opportunity to see Japanese trains before, let alone the incredible Shinkansen, we make a point to stop and just admire them. Our expectations for day 1 are pretty low, because the crushing weight of tiredness means we need to sleep in the next few hours. On a positive, we've managed to get a Suica card from the JR ticket office at Tokyo Station. And really exciting, we've booked our train tickets to Osaka and back for Kyoto for 5 days time on the Shinkansen.
So buying tickets is complicated, but now I'm going to get some ramen for lunch.
Before we go eat, here's a few interesting facts about Tokyo Station, which was created, or the plans were at least, in 1889 and had its first Shinkansen high-speed train in 1964. And for your information, it is huge, with an endless amount of shops, cafes and restaurants on the lower level, which you can access via these very cool set of escalators you've probably seen on Instagram. Just make sure if you're coming here to allow a minimum of 30 minutes, because the station can be very confusing. For lunch, we're heading over the road to the Marunouchi building, which is also a small shopping centre, to have our very first Japanese lunch. Consisting of beautiful cuts of chicken, egg and rice, it's presented in this beautiful container. And feeling like we haven't really achieved much, when really we have, it's back to the hotel to sleep.
Every good adventure starts with a good meal.
With breakfast out the way, later on the day we're going to one of the cutest cafes in town. But unlike Brent, I'm really into my trains, and Japan is one of the best places in the world to see them. So we're catching the Yamanote line 4 stops north to Kanda for a mystery destination.
So come to Kanda Station for 2 reasons. First is come to an unusual cafe, which is the Owl Cafe. And also we're going to Mansebashi, which used to be a station here in Tokyo, but is disused. Pretty excited by this one, you'll see why. So unfortunately what we came to see is not open until 11 o'clock, so having a look at some little snacks.
With our mystery train stop still closed, we take a walk across the river, in the direction of Akihabara. This area is well known for its slightly naughty shops, anime and tech.
So what have you bought?
How prints? How?
Okay, what is that?
I don't know. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's really good though.
Still puzzled but in love with our new soft drink, we made our way back to Mansabashi Station Remains.
So this is totally free to visit from the Mansabashi Station relics. You can go through to the cafe. I've heard the food's not great, but by all means grab a drink, or this area here is completely free. So if you're in the area, please check this out because it is so cool and it's absolutely free. If you don't like trains, don't come. I found this little store in Akihabara and they have the premium custard fish, yeah.
Having finished every last drop of that delicious premium custard, the Al Cafe is a mere 5-minute walk, and we highly recommend you book in advance. We were totally won over by the cuteness and the high ratings, but after visiting, we must say that we felt a bit indifferent. We aren't experts, but we felt unlike cats who chose to be domesticated, owls should probably be in the wild. However, the people that run the venue treat the owls with the utmost respect. You're asked to speak very quietly, move slowly so you don't excite them, and you must follow strict instructions. What really made the experience though was we were both surprised with a free photo souvenir, and Vivi, who is the cutest owl I've ever seen, even fell asleep on my shoulder. Clearly a very happy owl.
Okay, so how do you feel about that?
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
That was, I mean, it has to be one of the most surreal things I've ever done, but it was so incredible.
The owls freaked me out still.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, but you had a really cute one, so.
After seeing a man with a good set of legs pull around a fare paying passenger, we felt hungry, so our next stop is 3 kilometres northeast. 5 stops on the Ginza line and is a must for any trip.
So now we're catching the Ginza line over to Sensoji to see one of the most famous temples in Tokyo.
Just south of the Sensoji shrine is a roof-covered street, full of restaurants. It can so be overwhelming which one to choose, so we follow the advice if it's busy, then surely it can't be terrible.
So This is quite traditional in Japan. You get given tea. No milk, no sugar, just tea.
The logical thing to do now would be to go see the temple, but it's really beautiful at night, which is in a few hours' time. So we're taking the Tobu railway line from Asakusa station over to the Tobu train museum. The journey takes a nice easy 14 minutes, costs 160 yen and passes the famous Tokyo Skytree on the right hand side.
So we've come to Higashi Mokojima because we come to the Tobu Museum.
With an entry fee of 200 yen, that is insanely good value. And the museum has a large collection of models, which I'd love to own, plenty of full-size trains and even a massive model train layout, which you can pay to use.
We're now heading back to Sensoji to see the temple.
Plans change, and that's fine because it's a holiday.
But we're making one stop first at the Tokyo Skytrain. This cute little packet with a Pikachu on it. I have no idea what it is, but apparently it is a sweet and sour fruit mix. Oh.
You can then either take the train one stop or walk over the river, taking 20 minutes.
The historic temple of the Goddess of Mercy.
The Sensoji is Tokyo's oldest temple and the most significant. It includes a main hall and a 5-story pagoda in the grounds, and apparently is the most visited religious site in the entire world, with over 30 million visitors every year, and it's absolutely beautiful.
The thing that every YouTuber that goes here does is to come and get their fortune told.
Once you've paid the very modest fee, you shake the container to get a single wooden stick. You then need to match the finding symbol to the drawers opposite.
Bad old things will turn into happiness. New hope appearing, you will get treasures. You can find hope on the cloud.
Keep it Brent, it's not a bad one, so he gets to keep it. Job done.
Unfortunately for us, despite the sweets, we're still incredibly jet lagged, with the UK being 9 hours behind, and our sleeping pattern is really fighting the local time. If you still have the energy, then there are plenty of shops, restaurants and cafes in the surrounding area.
It may not look it, but it is pretty cold in Tokyo this morning. But I hope to see the pandas at the zoo, and then we're going to Borderless at Team Labs.
The Ueno Zoological Gardens open at 9 AM, and it's just west of the station with the same name, with a 5-minute walk.
So if you come into the park, it is really cheap value. It's about £3 per person. It's very cute, little tickets.
There are so many distractions, but we're rushing to get to the pandas because we read online that the queue can be as bad as 90 minutes long at peak times. The walk from the entrance is a minimum of 10 minutes, and luckily we don't have to wait long to see them. Even in the queue, there are plenty of opportunities. You might be interested to know that the queue is growing pretty quickly behind us, but while we wait, here are some interesting facts. Pandas are unique to China and essentially rented to zoos around the world. Even if a panda has a baby, say in Japan, it's still owned by China.
This has to be one of the most wholesome things you can do. Seeing a panda, there aren't many in the world. They are rented out from China for about $1 million a year.
And if you thought that was expensive, the zoo has 3 of them. Sadly just after are the red pandas, which aren't quite as famous, but just as cute. There are plenty of expected animals like the penguins, giraffes and flamingos, but there's even a few kangaroos. All that rushing around made us pretty hungry, and the restaurant in the park is well priced.
So if you get hungry, chicken and chips or chicken nuggets is £5 and a cheesecake is £3. So had a great time at the park, really fun, panda, just beautiful. We're going to see how we feel now because we've been up quite early. We might go to the park, we might go to the Pokemon Cafe. You just have to wait and see.
The Pokemon Cafe is about 5 minutes east of Tokyo Station. It also features a very extensive Pokemon store.
Don't just turn up for the cafe, because if you do, you're going to be disappointed. The next appointment's at like 2 and 4 in the afternoon, and we've turned up at like 11, 12 o'clock.
Ten minutes later, and we're heading south to Shimbashi to visit the Hamariku Gardens before we go for a rest in the hotel.
So to come in the park, it's 300 yen, which is very cheap, at about £1.50.
Before we go any further, if you're short on time, then it's a difficult choice. Do you go to Team Lab Borderless or Planet? To hear our honest opinion, you'll have to wait for tomorrow, as we plan to see both. But we've been really excited since we booked this 3 months ago. For those who aren't familiar, Team Labs have different rooms with digital art, which in the case of borderless art can travel from different rooms to corridors, and it's all a beautiful and sensory experience. They're so captivating and calming. Prices can vary between 3,600 and 5,400 yen, depending on how early you buy your tickets. My personal favourite was the moving cat made of flowers, but the most popular room is called the Crystal World. You can also pay to visit the On-Tea House, which essentially projects blooms of flowers over your chosen beverage. Personally, I didn't love the flavour of the tea, and I was a little jealous of the person next to me that had the matcha ice cream. It's something we had to do, but I feel you either love it, or you'll think it wasn't worth the extra cost.
I loved it. It was so good. Really unique. I didn't think it could be so good.
It is a mind-blowing experience. Tomorrow we're going to try the Planet one to see what that's like, so it'll be interesting to compare the two. But in the meantime, that was absolutely worth it.
With plenty of hours left in the day and the jet lag giving way, no trip would be complete without a trip to Shibuya.
So Shibuya is many things. It's food, it's entertainment, it's exciting lights.
Shibuya was formed in 1889, and it was originally a town which now has a population of over 200,000. It's one of the most colourful districts, packed with people, restaurants and entertainment. Just enough time for a quick teriyaki chicken burger at McDonald's, and then it's off to Shibuya Sky for some breathtaking views of the city. Tickets cost 2,500 yen, which is pretty good when you compare it to other cities around the world. And even the queue before ascending, the views are pretty juicy. Just note that there are time slots and they're very rigid, so don't expect to be let in early. And once you make it to the top, backpacks are not allowed and must be stored in the locker room. Just make sure you have a 100 yen coin, which you will get back afterwards. Besides the view, and it's totally a fad, you'll see on Instagram the famous ascending escalators. But if that scares the hell out of you, as it does me, then there's also some very solid stairs.
Good morning and welcome back. Yesterday we went to Team Lab Borderless and today we're going to see Planet. We think we already know which one we prefer. If you've been to both and you have a preference, let us know below.
Depending on where you're staying and how much time you have in Tokyo, you may find that Borderless suits you better. In our case, travelling from Mesem Hotel requires taking the monorail, which isn't particularly fast, taking 26 minutes. The entry fee depends on the time of year you go, starting at 3,600 yen but going up to a maximum of 4,800 during the Christmas period.
Queue is a little bit confusing. It's like a group waiting for the next half an hour, but we're in the one now, so you just literally go on the whatever it is.
Otherwise, the whole queuing system is really well organised. And once you've scanned your ticket at the barrier, you're required to go through for orientation. After which you're required to remove your shoes, and once in the locker room, your socks as well, because as you'll see in a little bit, some of the rooms are filled with water. Planets doesn't quite feel as refined as Borderless, but we were soon wowed by the variety. Yes, the Infinite Crystal universe is basically the same as Borderless, but it's so amazing we can forgive this one. The other key difference is that Planets is very structured, so you can't lose yourself and will be sure to see every exhibit. We thoroughly enjoyed the koi pond where you immerse your feet in 30 centimeters of water, with the lights rotating between either day or night, watching the koi fish swim around you. The three-dimensional existence is also jaw-droppingly beautiful, and yes, you can push and interact with the human-sized colouring changing balloons, but just don't be too rough or you might get kicked out. Once you finish the tour, make sure you don't leave before visiting the Moss Garden, although during our wander around it was daytime, which perhaps isn't quite as inspiring, but still wonderful. After which, in our view, this is the most captivating room. You've probably seen it on Instagram, and that's the floating flower garden. Be sure to pick a spot quickly though and take those all-important photos because it gets busy.
Brent, I'm really curious to know, which one do you prefer?
It's hard to say. I really don't know. They're both really good.
Brent prefers Planet and I prefer Borderless. There's probably more variety when you come to Planet. It's further away, so if you're short on time, I would stick to Borderless, which also probably has more exhibits.
A wise man once said, many steps create much hunger. So we're catching a direct bus from Team Labs to Ginza to try a highly recommended ramen restaurant, before a little shopping at Uniqlo's flagship store. Kyushu Jangara Ginza is just south of Tokyo Station, and when we arrived, 4 people were already in the queue. The Japanese are masters at lining up neatly and very respectfully. Also, while you wait, the chef hands you the menu and takes your order, so that once a table becomes free, your meal is pretty much ready straight away. How efficient.
How was that?
Delish. 10 out of 10. Can't complain. So good.
Cause I got you like you got me, and I'm with it if you with it. Committed, committed, committed. So please don't be scared.
Just a few quick facts about Uniqlo's flagship store. It has a staggering 12 floors. And there's even a rest area at the top floor because, well, shopping's exhausting.
You got me, and I'm with it if you with it. Committed.
And be sure to bring your passport to get that tax-free shopping discount.
Got the world on your shoulder. True car, but I'm never gonna fold you. True car, but I'm never.
And besides trains, eating and shopping, I'm a big fan of cats. Brent, slightly not so much, but we're going to the cat temple.
This one's pretty far outside the city, so if you're short on time, maybe best avoid it. But being so far, there are different ways to get here, so it's best to consult Google Maps. And Kyoto Station is 45 minutes outside of Tokyo towards the west.
Making a small detour because we found this tiny little shrine that sort of has some resemblance to the one in, is it Kyoto? Yeah. With the orange. It's not quite the same, but it's very cute.
Once you've arrived, it's another 16-minute walk to the temple, crossing the Tokyo Setagaya line. Gotokuji Temple, also known as the Cat Temple, is a must for cat lovers, although we didn't actually see a cat. Small statues portray cats sitting and raising their front paw, which according to legend, Neotaka was caught in a terrible storm, and a cat invited him inside to shelter. The cat was later known for good fortune, and cats today are donated by worshippers, symbolising good luck.
So it's up to you whether you think the experience was worth it. It's absolutely peaceful and a place to reflect, and there were so many little cat statues. Glad we came quite a long journey from Tokyo, so I would come if you have time. If not, maybe do something else.
On the return walk, before you get to the railway crossing, be sure to make a right, which will take you towards Gotokuji Station with lots of boutique fashion shops and cafes.
Why didn't you call? Why didn't you? Why didn't you?
Next, we're taking a 24-minute journey on the Adaku line, over to Shinjuku, not to be confused with Shibuya, despite both having plenty of beautiful neon street signs.
Welcome to Shinjuku, which is home of the cat billboard, the Godzilla head, and plenty of bars.
Just a word of warning for anyone offering drinks at a bar in Kabukicho. The area is a lot safer, but there are some which are linked to the notorious Yakuza Japanese mafia, and usually they won't let you leave without paying an extortionate amount of money. In the news, one couple, sadly on the honeymoon, didn't know this and were relieved of $6,000. It's only 6 PM in the afternoon, so despite our little warning, the area is pretty safe. And we plan on playing some fun Japanese arcade games and fighting the large Godzilla.
That was fun, but the winning was neither of us because you have to pay 300 for another go.
Before we head back to the hotel for one last premium custard fish, we must go visit Golden Guy, which is a quirky and cute little street neighbourhood, ideal for those who want a beer, sake, or just some food. Unfortunately, even on a Friday at 5 PM, only a few of the bars are open, so be sure to turn up later in the evening, but once they're open, they're all small, cosy establishments and all very unique.
So what are you having, Brent?
Custard fish.
I'm pretty excited and a bit sad this morning. We've had 5 beautiful days in Tokyo as they were taking on the Shinkansen over to Osaka.
But that's another video. Japan is such an amazing country. The people are so polite, respectful and kind. Just don't underestimate the jet lag. We'll also be visiting Osaka for those big beautiful nighttime lights, feeding the deer in Nara, how cute, and making our own pot noodle. Followed by 3 nights in Kyoto, getting up pretty early to visit the insta-famous bamboo forest, and the magical Fushimi Inada Taisha Shinto shrine. Catching a Hello Kitty train, and standing in awe of the first generation Shinkansen high-speed train. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a like. If not, feel free to check out our other videos, and thank you so much for watching.